Hello viewers, welcome to this edition of the Fatu Network News Review. I am Alamoto S. Bajinka. In today's edition, earlier today, Sena Bombay, ex-wife of Bob Ketta, was arraigned at the Kanifing Magistrate Court as she has been charged with manslaughter. Activist Kek Sane witnessed the proceeding and spoke to the Fatu Network. Bob Ketta's trial came up in court yesterday. We will bring you what happened in and out of the court. In a build-up to the next month Gambia football election, one of the two candidates, Sadibou Kamaso, has promised to increase the league winning prize from $700,000 to $1.5 million. The National Youth Council launched National Youth Conference and Festival 2022. All of these and more coming up shortly after the break. Welcome back. As usual, let's begin with stories making headlines in today's newspaper. First, the Standard newspaper. Government slashed about $1 billion from 2020 budget to cover salary increment. Woman plead guilty to assaulting 2-year-old niece. On the Point newspaper, ex-VP back to activism. Bob Ketta's alleged rape case, state urges court not to set aside its July 7 ruling. SFL confirms Babaja's apology. Agric Ministry facilitates supply of 13,000 tons of fertilizer. Legislatures prepare for first extraordinary session in 2020. Onto the Voice newspaper. AFDB approves $3.5 million for Gambian rice project. Gassama applaud Barrow for sending Tobaski message to opposition leaders. Finally, on the Fryer newspaper, court to rule on motion seeking to set aside DNA orders in Bob Ketta's case. NHRC to engage lawmakers on TRRC recommendation. NAWEC compensate individual for losing their land to government project. That's all we have on the headlines today. Now let's take some news items. Earlier today, Sena Bombay, ex-wife of Bob Ketta, was arraigned at the Kanifing Magistrate Court and charged for manslaughter. She is remanded with 2 orders. The case was transferred to High Court as the Magistrate Court does not have jurisdiction over such. Activist Kex witnessed the proceeding and spoke to the Fatu Network.
Immediately at 2:13, Sena Bombay and his brother Chorna and Mohammed were escorted by the police. Ablai Jamme, Ablai is Commissioner Sane, he's a police prosecutor, Commissioner Sane, and they enter in the courtroom. After 15 or 5 minutes, the magistrate came over and the matter was mentioned before the Mr. Umar Jambang, he's the presiding magistrate of this court. And when the matter was mentioned in the charge sheet that the state brought through the state prosecutor, indicate that both the 3 parties are charged for what we call manslaughter. Two brothers, Sena Bombay and the 2 brothers are all charged for manslaughter. And this is the only charge that is leveled against them. And when they read that, they said since this court doesn't have the jurisdiction to hear a capital case because this attract what we call life imprisonment, and based on those things, this court is a magistrate court, and magistrates doesn't hear matters that are of capital offense. They are requesting for the matter to be transferred to a higher court that is in Banjul, and they rely on the CP Act, and he said he rely on section 62 and 208 of the provisions for the matter to be transferred to a higher court. And the defense counsel too, they said they are aware of that. That's Kombege, who is representing the accused person with Sagara. We all know Sagara was the counsel at the TRRC. Yeah, so they were represented by Senabo, but they didn't object to the request by the state. They said until they go to the High Court. And delivering his ruling, the judge says that he lacks the jurisdiction to hear this matter. Since he lacked the jurisdiction to hear this matter, he is transferring the matter to the High Court in Banjul. But doing that, he relied on 208 of the provision that these two parties should be kept in the prison remand until the determination and the hearing at the Court of Appeal, the High Court. Yeah, so this has been his judgment and the court rights. So presently they have been drove by the police, so they will be handed over to the prison authorities pending the hearing at the High Court. Immediately.
Also, ex-husband of Sainabou Mbye, Bob Ketta, was in court yesterday in his ongoing rape trial. The case has been ongoing for about 2 years. Bob is being accused of raping his ex-wife's younger sister. As usual, hundreds of Bob's supporters filled the court's premises but were prevented by the police from entering the main court building. His supporters are calling for his release. Bob's lawyer made his submission and the state is to make theirs. Here is an insert.
After the adjournment of the motion to defer the DNA examination, the hearing of the trial of Babukar Bob Ketta versus the state proceeded in Banjul High Court, presided over by Justice Momodu S.M. Jallow of the Bundung High Court. Sympathizers of the alleged rapist Babukar Ketta gathered in huge numbers at the Act 22 in Banjul to show their support, despite the huge security present.
This is for Bob Ketta. Amankem badinti, amankem fonde. It's not about it should be your family. Gamero digo clean shot. Amankem badin we ko kita odambal. Injustice in Besara ko yaraga end fonde. Amankem badinti. Ntof insignole taboko. So I must I must come. Fonde.
Ñew taxaw pour suñu brother bi Bob Ketta pour luñ ko free rek. Ketta ñu fi ñu bari amna ñu nga xamuñ ko sax. Waye so gisé ñuy taxaw fi ni because of doomi Gambien la te ñun ñep doomi Gambie Sainabou Mbye doomi Gambie ñun ñep doomi Gambien la waye luy dëgg bi lañ bëgg mu daw
ñun ever since code bi mu start ñun dañ lay ñëw ñun nekkuñ ne comme mariral ndoor bi lañ toppa rek de dañ naan escape from job di dem toppa case bi waaye dañ gis ne so sister suñ waxee dëgg rek suñ justice system bi daf ñu fail because code bi nu moo demee it's not right man musuma gis lii bi ma sumay juree ba léegi musuma gis lii history Gambia lii history la keesi boot bi ñu ko ajen 43 xaw ma 33 times musuma koo gis moo dara si rey nañ fi nit ñu ngee dem code seen code bi daf dee dem nice waaye bu bopp bi waaye ñu ko ajoon di ko ajoon ay nonsense dama dee naafi la dama bidanti nonsense rubbish suma driver bi jël si wut ma loolu mooy lan loolu ban façon jooj la kooku ban façon jooj la nañ bàyyi bopp mu free su fekkee ne moo ko def nañ ko aate waaye nga tëj nit ki 2 good years commit to 3 loolu ban façon jooj la wala ban façon case la si àdduna.
Babukar Bob Ketta, the accused, was transported from the Mile 2 Central Prison to the High Court in Banjul in the early morning of Monday, 25th July 2022. Arguing thoroughly in court, lawyer L.S. Camara for Bob Ketta seek 3 prayers to set aside the ruling of 7 July 2022 with the inability of the state to comply with the state of execution of the order of the court pending the determination of appeal. Mr. Camara argued that the police investigation was done on November 11, 2019, which is a good 32 months when the state knew the DNA was deemed essential for the case but did not conduct it. He blamed the state for wasting the time of the court and pleaded to the judge to set aside the ruling of July 7, 2022 and open an immediate defense. However, the state lawyer Patrick Gomez opposed the notion that the state was the one wasting time, insisting that they have written 2 letters on April 2021 for DNA and a follow-up letter in June, DNA 2, to which the defense counsel failed to compile. Lawyer Camara argues that the state wasted time for a complete 16 months to apply for a DNA analysis, which the court granted after 1 year, 9 months. He further stated that there is no affidavit in oppose before the court and that one Mariama Bah, a female clerk in the AG chambers, purportedly sworn into the affidavit for and on behalf of Babukar Ketta for the matter. The affidavit was seriously defeated and enjoined for the court to throw it out. Lawyer Gomez disagreed that the clerk, Mariama Bah, should not vow on behalf of Bob and that she is a legal clerk at the Attorney General Chambers. The judge adjourned the case for ruling on Wednesday, 27 June 2022. Lawyer L.S. Camara highlights what happened in the court.
The state filed a motion on the 16th of December 2021, for DNA tests to be conducted. We objected to this motion, right? We objected to the motion. It was granted on the 7th of July. On the 13th of July, they came to court, and then after the proceedings, they took Bob Ketta away and then went to the hospital and took blood extraction from him and Pamo Bichon. Up till now, 18 days later, they have not taken blood extractions from baby Mohammed. Then intervening circumstances came in. We heard baby Mohammed is late, just at the time the order was given. The state wants us to, the state which is the respondent wants us to believe that there was a blood extraction from baby Mohammed and that the DNA extraction examination should be done based on the blood that was extracted in our absence, without any independent arbiter being present. We are objecting to that.
Reporting for the Fatu Network, Jenki.
As the Gambia prepares to host the OIC summit, President Adama Barrow over the weekend presided over the foundation stone laying of a 5-star hotel which is set to house participants of the summit who will zoom in the Gambia from different parts of the world. Dauda Balde has rest of the report.
President Barrow has laid the foundation stone for the construction of the multi-million-dollar Radisson Blu 5-star hotel to commence as the country is about to host the Organization of Islamic Cooperation Summit. President Adama Barrow said the 5-star hotel is the single biggest investment in the tourism sector in the country since independence, adding that Gambia will undoubtedly host the summit after the laying of the foundation stone. He said the project will create employment for both skilled and non-skilled Gambians during and after its construction.
Besides its macroeconomic benefits, the project will create jobs for both skilled and unskilled persons during and after the construction. I encourage the youth to take advantage of these opportunities, to acquire skills and generate income, to become productive and self-reliant citizens.
He said the country is small, but it has captured the attention and imagination of the world in all sides, saying history has been made. He told the gathering that the OIC Secretary General in Jeddah and the entire membership has expressed their fullest support to the country as it prepares to host this summit. President Barrow said the OIC projects are designed to be legacy projects and their benefits and impact will far outlive the summit.
My government will ensure that the contractors, consultants, and all other stakeholders deliver and complete all the necessary infrastructure projects on time.
He said the hotel will contribute immensely to diversify the tourism portfolio further, while addressing the demand for international brand luxury hotels across Africa, as the tourism sector is trying to recover from the negative impact of COVID-19. Hamad Nkeba, Minister of Tourism and Culture, said the construction of the 5-star hotel marks a significant milestone in the development, advancement, and promotion of the tourism sector. He said the country has a serious shortage of quality beds and cited uncertainties in several hotels.
We have serious shortage of quality beds in the Gambia. The demand is high, but the supply is very low. And I'm sure this Imolad group will add value to that. Today we face uncertainty regarding the Kolara Beach Hotel, uncertainty regarding the Atlantic Hotel, uncertainty regarding the Kairaba Hotel, and the lack of operation at both Wadna Beach and Fajara Hotel has seriously affected the cost when it comes to the issue of quality beds in the Gambia.
Abdullah Cham, the Chief Executive Officer of Imogam, said the investment is based on the spirit of creating and promoting inter-African cooperation, especially between Senegal and Gambia. He explained the duration of the construction of the project. However, he urged the government and partners to give them the necessary support to ensure the timely completion of the projects.
The hotel is expected to be built within 15 months. I would like to appeal to Your Excellency and all the partners in government to provide our joint company, Imogam, the necessary support and the proper operation environment to make sure this objective is achieved without delay.
This is a major infrastructural project that is among the OIC project components in the country.
For TFN News.
In a build-up to the next month's Gambia Football Federation's election, one of the two candidates, Sadibou Kamaso, has promised to increase the league winning prize from $700,000 to $1.5 million. Our sports news correspondent, Mohamed Lamin Drame, has details.
As the Gambia Football Federation presidential election is on the horizon, the leader of Team Restore Confidence, Sadibou Kamaso, has promised to increase the price of the pinnacle of the Gambia Football Federation League competition winners to $1.5 million from $700,000. In his starting 11, the outspoken GFF presidential aspirant outlined that Gambian football has registered slow improvement in terms of player development and transfers to the international stage. Among his plans in the league development and professionalization is to increase the financial benefit of teams. We intend to increase the league prize money to $1.5 million for the winners, runners-up $750,000 and third position $500,000, Kamaso says. He went further to promise that if elected as the president of the country's football governing body, the FF Cup winners will pocket home $1 million and $500,000 to the runner-up. According to Kamaso's manifesto, dubbed the starting 11, one factor in the slow progress of the league in the country is the level of the competition. Kamaso outlined, one of the contributing factors to this impeding progress is the fact that the Gambian League has been amateur since the inception of the Gambia Football Federation in 1952, he says. With infrastructural development being the biggest challenge the Kaba executive is faced with, Kamaso has plans to work with the government, municipalities and area council to build sustainable football pitches across. He said that he will engage the government of the Gambia for the right policies to create an enabling environment for making the league a professional league. The Gambia Football Federation presidential election is slated for August 27, 2022. Kamaso's former boss and opponent, incumbent Lamin Kababajo, has told the Fatu Network that he is the right person to head the federation. For the Fatu Network News Review, I am Mohamed Lamin Drame. As the Gambia Football...
The National Youth Council recently launched the National Youth Conference and Festival 2022. The event is set to brought together hundreds of young people to discuss issues affecting their well-being. More in this report.
We are the future leaders.
National Youth Conference and Festival, NYCOF, is a biannual youth event that attracts scores of youth from all over the country and beyond to share their experiences and dilate on issues that affect their lives. The inauguration is geared towards the preparation of the much-awaited National Youth Conference and Festival, spearheaded by the National Youth Council under the auspices of the Ministry of Youth and Sport. The event marked the launch of the NYCOF 2022 under the theme, The Role of Young People in the Maintenance of Peace and Security for Socio-Economic Development of the Country, Challenges and Opportunities. Speaking at the event, Deputy Executive Director of National Youth Council, Pa Malik Sise, who represents the Director, emphasizes their commitment to stand for the welfare of youth and also emphasizes the need for the participation of colleagues for a successful event.
It requires total consultation, patience, as we're dealing with young people. We will be gathering 2,000 delegates from all parts of the country and other parts of the world.
Speaking on the significance of the event that is scheduled to take place in the capital city of Banjul from the 15th December to the 23rd December, Deputy Mayor of Banjul City Council, Modou Touré, notes the significance of NYCOF and expresses readiness in hosting the event.
NYCOF is a very important component for youths, and it's long overdue that Banjul should host it, but the COVID and a lot of things happening here and there, the elections and all those things involved. but we are committed and we are ready to host it. And everything we discussed prior, we will fulfill it, inshallah.
Satang Doumbia, a member of the organizing committee of NECOV and also a social justice activist, highlights the need to have young and equal representation for NECOV while giving the closing remarks.
We deserve a young representative on the high table, of course. We deserve it to be gender equal or gender equity, if we may call it that way, because NECOV, I believe, is a youth activity. Not only is it geared or dedicated for young people, but also looking at women, constituting more than 70% of our population, or more than half of our population, deserve definitely to be represented here.
Also, speaking at the event, the Permanent Secretary of Youth and Sports, Sekou K. Sanyang, who speaks on behalf of the Minister of Youth and Sport, acknowledges the value of youth in developmental process as he outlines the role of organizing committee in a bid to have a successful event.
This year's conference is centered on the role of young people in the maintenance of peace and security for socio-economic development of the country. Looking at the theme for this year, one is bound to say that the theme is perfect, as the young people are the gatekeepers of security.
That was Sekou K. Sanyang, Permanent Secretary of Youth and Sport. This is the 13th edition of the NECOV, and it will be hosted in the capital city of Banjul. The event this year is scheduled for the 15th to the 23rd of December 2022. It is stipulated in the National Youth Policy 2018-2029 and the National Youth Council Act of 2000. For the Fatu Network, Alimatu S. Bajinka. Let us now take some news happening elsewhere. In Congo, against the United Nations in the city of Goma in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Demonstrations have continued for a second day, demanding the departure of the peacekeeping force. The protests called by the government's youth wing turned violent when demonstrations stormed the mission's local headquarters and a logistical base. There have been chaotic scenes of burning and looting. One graphic image shared on social media shows a protester lying on the ground as others shout that he has been shot dead by UN forces. In Ethiopia, the authorities in Ethiopia's eastern Somali region say the army working with regional forces has killed 85 members of Somali terrorist group Al-Shabaab. The army says they captured many other militants in an operation concentrated on 5 towns on the border where the Al-Qaeda-linked group has bases. The actions comes in response to an attack last week on Ethiopian forces near the border with Somalia. Witnesses told the BBC they saw the militants in several vehicles crossing into Ethiopia territory and that intense fighting had taken place. In that attack, Al-Shabaab said it had killed more than 80 soldiers. That's all we have for you today on this edition of the Fatu Network News Review. I was your presenter, Alimatu S. Bajinka, and bye for now.